Hello everyone and welcome to the lecture on AWS Well Architected Tool. So this lecture will contain all these topics. What is AWS Well Architected Tool? AWS Well Architected Framework, AWS Well Architected Tool definitions, activating support for other AWS services, activating app registry for a workload, activating AWS Trusted Advisor for a workload, AWS Well Architected Tool Lens Catalog, review templates, profiles and milestones. So what is AWS Well Architected Tool? AWS Well Architected Tool provides a standardized approach to assess your architecture using AWS best practices, ensuring consistency across evaluations. The tool helps at various stages, from documenting decisions to providing recommendations and guiding improvements, supporting the entire product lifecycle. AWS Well Architected Tool assists in documenting the architectural decisions you make, creating a record for future reference and collaboration. By leveraging AWS best practices developed by experienced solution architects, the tool offers recommendations to enhance your workload's reliability, security, efficiency, and cost effectiveness. AWS Well Architected Tool guides you in making necessary improvements to optimize your workload based on the AWS Well Architected framework. The tool incorporates the best practices from AWS Well Architected framework, which offers a consistent approach for measuring architectures and provides guidance for implementing scalable designs. In addition to AWS best practices, you can create custom lenses to assess your workload against your organization's specific best practices, technologies, or governance requirements. Integrations with these services help you easily discover the information needed to answer well-architected review questions, streamlining the assessment process. AWS Well Architected Tool is designed for technical product development professionals, enabling them to document architectures, providing product launch governance, and manage risk in their technology portfolio. So just to recap, just to summarize AWS Well Architected Framework in a single slide. The framework provides a set of foundational questions that help you understand how your architecture aligns with cloud best practices. It offers a standardized method for evaluating systems against the qualities expected from modern cloud-based systems. The framework proposes improvements you can make to better achieve the desired qualities based on the current state of your architecture. By using the framework, you learn architectural best practices for designing and operating systems in the cloud that are reliable, secure, efficient, and cost-effective. The framework enables you to consistently measure your architectures against best practices and identifies areas that need improvement. The well-architected framework is structured around 6 key pillars that form the foundation of a well-designed cloud architecture. And those 6 pillars are operational excellence, security, reliability, performance efficiency, cost optimization, and sustainability. When designing a workload, you make trade-offs between these pillars based on your specific business requirements, which help prioritize your engineering efforts. Examples include optimizing for cost in development environments, prioritizing reliability in mission-critical solutions, and emphasizing performance in e-commerce solutions to drive customer satisfaction and revenue. Okay, AWS Well Architected Tool definitions. So first one is called a workload. A workload identifies a set of components that deliver business value. The workload is usually the level of detail that business and technology leaders communicate about. Examples of workloads include marketing websites, e-commerce websites, the backend for a mobile app, and analytic platforms. Workloads vary in their level of architectural complexity. They can be simple, such as a static website, or complex, such as microservices architectures with multiple data stores and many components. Second important tool definition is milestones. Milestones mark key changes in your architecture as it evolves throughout the product lifecycle, design, testing, go live, and production. Third one is lenses. Lenses provide a way for you to consistently measure your architecture against best practices and identify areas for improvement. In addition to the lenses provided by AWS, you also can create and use your own custom lenses or use lenses that have been shared with you. Next one is high risk issues, HRIs. High risk issues are architectural and operational choices that AWS has found might result in significant negative impact to a business. These high risk issues might affect organizational operations, assets and individuals. And lastly, medium risk issues, MRIs, are architectural and operational choices that AWS has found might negatively impact business, but to a lesser extent than high risk issues. Okay, next is activating support for other AWS services. So first one is activating organization access permit for AWS well-architected tool to gather information about your organization structure to share resources more easily. So there is some specific checkbox or a flag which is called activating discovery support, which gathers information from AWS Trusted Advisor, AWS Service Catalog, App Registry, and related resources such as AWS Cloud Formation Stacks in App Registry resource collections to help you more easily discover the information needed to answer well-architected review questions and tailor the Trusted Advisor checks for a workload. So this is at the highest level, global level. So basically you enable this activate organization support, discovery support, activate discovery support. Okay, next one is called activating app registry for a workload. So using app registry is an optional, and AWS business and enterprise support customers can activate it on a per workload basis. So it's only available for business and enterprise support customers. So whenever discovery support is turned on, which is at the highest level so that is we have already enabled in the previous step, and app registry is associated with a new or existing workload, AWS well-architected tool creates a service managed attribute group. The attribute group metadata in app registry contains the workload. So it's per workload, right? Specific. So it contains the workload ARN, Amazon resource name, the workload name, and the risks associated with that workload. So when discovery support is turned on, anytime there is a change to the workload, the attribute group is updated. When discovery support is turned off or the application is removed from the workload information is removed from the AWS service catalog. And lastly, activating AWS Trusted Advisor for a workload. So integration with AWS Trusted Advisor is optional and can be activated on a per workload basis for AWS business and enterprise support customers. And there is no cost to integrate Trusted Advisor with AWS well-architected tool. So there is no cost, but Trusted Advisor services will cost, but on integration does not have any cost in the well-architected tool. Okay, next important topic is AWS well-architected tools lens catalog. So there are a lot of lenses. So currently there are 14 lenses. So I'll just quickly walk you through. So first one is AWS well-architected framework. This is applied by default to all workloads, and this is a collection of architectural best practices for designing and operating reliable, secure, efficient, cost-efficient, and sustainable systems in the cloud. Next one is connected mobility, and it offers best practices for integrating technology into transportation systems and enhancing the overall mobility experience. Third one is container build, and this provides best practices on the container design and build process. Fourth one is data analytics. This contains an insights that AWS has gathered from real-world case studies and help you learn the key design elements of well-architected analytics workloads along with recommendations for improvement. Fifth one is DevOps. Describes a structured approach that organizations of all sizes can follow to cultivate a high-velocity, security-focused culture capable of delivering substantial business value using modern technologies and DevOps best practices. Sixth one is around governance or the government. Best practices for designing and delivering governance services on AWS. Seventh, healthcare industry. Best practices and guidance for how to design, deploy, and manage your healthcare workloads in the AWS cloud. Okay, eighth one is IoT, Internet of Things. So best practices for managing your Internet of Things workloads in AWS. Ninth, merger and acquisition value creation. Provides a set of additional questions to consider when looking for ways to drive company growth, such as for private equity, mergers and acquisitions activity. 10th, machine learning. Best practices for managing your machine learning resources and workloads in AWS. 11th, migration. Best practices for how to migrate to the AWS cloud. 12th, SaaS, software as a service, focused on designing, deploying, and architecting your software as a service workload in the AWS cloud. Then 13th is SAP, design principles and best practices for SAP workloads in the AWS cloud. And 14th is serverless applications, and this offers best practices for build serverless workloads on AWS, and this covers scenarios such as RESTful microservices, mobile app backends, stream processing, and web applications. Okay, next feature we'll look at is review templates. So you can create review templates in AWS well-architected tool that contain pre-filled answers for well-architected framework and custom lens best practice questions. Well-architected review templates reduce the need to manually fill in the same answers for best practices that are common across multiple workloads when performing a well-architected review, and they help drive consistency and standardization of best practices across teams and workloads. You can create a review template to answer common best practice questions or create notes which then can be shared with another IAM user or account, or to an organization or to an organizational unit in the same AWS region. So it can be another organization or OU within the same AWS region but part of same organization. So next feature is profiles. You can create profiles to provide your business context and identify goals you would like to accomplish when performing a well-architected review. AWS well-architected tool uses the information gathered from your profile to help you focus on a prioritized list of questions that are relevant to your business during the workload review. Attaching a profile to your workload also helps you see which risks are prioritized for you to address with your improvement plan. Okay, last feature is milestones. So a milestone records the state of a workload at a particular point in time. So you can save a milestone after you initially complete all the questions associated with a workload. As you change your workload based on items in your improvement plan, you can save additional milestones to measure progress. A best practice is to save a milestone every time you make improvements to a workload. And that's all. Thanks for watching.